We have all watched that one show or anime where we not only relate to the characters of the show, but we also relate to the atmosphere. We have watched anime that make us cry, that kick our motivation levels up to the max, and shows that we think were made just for us to watch. The us in that situation being an individual viewer, being you as an individual, not you as a group of the collective anime community. Anime is a fantastic medium for storytelling because you can add so much to the story without saying a single word, simply through visuals. Run with the Wind is one of these shows that I started watching simply because it was about running. Being a runner myself, I was interested in how it would tell its story, and man, my expectations, whatever they were before it, were vastly exceeded. And here's why I think Run with the Wind is an amazing anime. The first thing I loved about the show was certainly its art style. It's simple but very effective, and not something you traditionally see in sports anime, unless you want to look at Ping Pong the animation for the extreme. Episode 1 lays the groundwork perfectly because of the visuals we are given, and these first few minutes tells us a lot about the show. The anime begins when Haiji is searching for the 10th and final runner for his track and field club, when suddenly Kurahara shoots right past him. Haiji gets on his bike with no hesitation to chase after him. While he's chasing him, we are given these visuals from Haiji's perspective, where Kurahara is glowing blue and the path he is running is also covered in blue light. Everything else is dark because nothing else really matters. The reason we see this is because Kurahara is, in Haiji's eyes, the purest form of running, which is gracious form, very fast, and potentially likes to run. When he catches up to Kurahara, he asks him this very simple, yet powerful question. Do you like running? This is what I find truly fascinating about the show, because when met with this question, he struggles to find an answer, due to the fact that at this point he wasn't sure if he liked running. Due to his past, which we find out later, Kurahara isn't even sure if he likes to run. Actually, he states that he might even have hated running. I find this something we all struggle with, because a simple question on the surface can actually tell a person a lot about themselves. If you ever spent years of your life doing something, I'm sure you've eventually asked yourself the same question. Do I like what I'm doing? This question can be very scary because you might come to realize that you never liked something that you've poured years of your life into. As a collegiate runner myself, I've asked myself this question many times. Much like Kurahara finds the answer to his questions as the anime progresses, we also find the answer to our own questions as we progress through life. Now let's put a bookmark on all the life talk for a minute. I'll come back to that in a minute. I want to talk about something else in the show that I really enjoy, which is in fact the atmosphere of the show. At the first track meet some episodes later, after all the characters have been introduced, this is when the whole feeling of the show changed for me. The build-up, the tension, anticipation, and the silence as they are standing at the starting line waiting for the signal to go. Everything about this track meet really captured the soul of running. And it is very difficult to explain what something feels like, but it captured it perfectly. It really takes me back for when I'm preparing for my events, whether it be for cross country or for track. As we continue through the show, it gives us more information about Haiji's injury, Kurahara's past, and building up the other characters. And before you knew it, everyone who was previously against Haiji's idea of running with this very rough around the edges team all discovered that in some sense they started to like running. The team who only recently started sharing a living space suddenly became like a family. And that is the effect of running with the team. As you train together, develop and get faster, you develop rivalries and bonds with your teammates. This is one of those feelings I know and understand far too well. Whether it was my first year running in high school or now my last year running in college, I had developed close friendships I never would have otherwise if I didn't run. At first, Kurahara absolutely refused to run with this team, but the team slowly won him over. It got to the point where Kurahara, who had never cheered for anyone else in his life, was on the edge of the track yelling and cheering for his teammates to do the absolute best that they can. That is what running with a true team makes you do. It makes you want to cheer for them to do their absolute best no matter what. Like how when Kurahara was about to PR in the middle of a race, but he slowed down to give Prince the little motivational boost that he needed to finish the race. All of this truly captures this unexplainable feeling of running with a team. Now I'm going to skip the qualifier because I want to talk about the finale at Hakone and pick back up on the characters. When all the characters ran, they told their stories. Prince, who never liked running and was never fast, ran the hardest he could for his team that he had gotten to know so well. King wanted to become better friends with Haiji and wanted to run again next year, even though his primary focus at the beginning of the show was to get a job. Musa had found joy in running with his team. One of the twins said he wasn't going to run next year because it really wasn't his thing. Soccer was more his thing. But he alluded that the other twin had fallen in love with running and seeing Karara as a rival for him to catch up to. The one they call Nicotine Senpai had found his love with running again. The lawyer student almost ran his section record. And Takashi ran the race sick. He powered through his sickness because if he was to forfeit the race, the whole team would be disqualified. That's shown how much he cared for his teammates and how determined he was not to be a burden for the rest of his team. And now we reach our two main characters. Starting with Kurahara, Japan's fastest runner told him that he was going to break the section record. To which Kurahara responded by telling him that he would only be the section record holder for 5 minutes because Kurahara said that he would beat Japan's fastest runner. This is the first time that he openly challenged another runner, showing how much he had grown since they raced at the first track meet. Now, my favorite part of the whole series is when Haiji gets his turn to race. Kurahara passes the sash off to Haiji and then hurries to the finish line to see Haiji finish. When Haiji comes into view, and we hear his knee snap, and then it shows him smiling as he's finishing. Haiji knew going into the race that it would probably be his last, and he had made peace with that. It is here that we see something from Kurahara's view. Like we did with Haiji at the beginning, everything else fades to darkness, and Kurahara sees Haiji in this golden light. To Kurahara, Haiji was the purest form of running, which is the love for running. It is an excellent ending because Haiji was looking for what Kurahara was, and vice versa for Kurahara to Haiji. That is why I love Run with the Wind. And with all that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button. And if you want to see more videos like this in the future, hit that subscribe button. And popping up about now on your screen would be a link to my previous video on The Promised Neverland. Give that a watch, and if you do, that would be totally epic gamer moments. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Well, hopefully it will be, good and nice and fine. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.